you said this possibly could be a loser leaves town match, but it definitely has serious implications. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing on the one and only, infamous, Siyar the Killer. Siyar, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Good, thank you, my friend. How are you?
Doing amazing, thank you. Siyar, everyone wants to know, where have you been the last few years?
I have been laying low for a little bit.
Well, where have...
Yeah, I've been laying low a little bit. I just, had a long layoff and enjoyed different things in life, and now I'm back to MMA.
Sounds a little bit mysterious, but we won't pry too much into your personal life because you're kind of a scary guy. I've seen you at the gym before. So, tell us...
Yeah.
So are you training at Jackson's MMA right now? And if so, how's training going? How are you feeling going into this big fight against Brandon Thatch?
Guilty as charged. I am training at Jackson's MMA, and it's a great gym. Great people, great energy, great gym. Great Jackson. Do I need to say more?
Yeah, exactly. And you come from a background where I believe sparring was very important, and you definitely would spar in the gym. How important is it to have high quality training partners along with great coaching?
Actually, it's horrible. It's horrible to have a lot of good high level athletes to spar with, because that will get you injuries. So I believe my whole perspective on sparring has changed. I do spar a lot, but it's not for the kill. So I don't know if you can still call me Siyar the Killer, because that killer instinct I will only show in fights, no more in training. I used to show it in training too, but no more.
Well,
too many injuries, my friend.
Hey, Siyar, it's Jonathan here. You brought up your nickname, the Killer, there. I read that you got that nickname from your grandfather after he witnessed you whip the shit out of a couple of older kids in a street fight. I want to hear that story. Break that down for us real quick.
Well, that story is quite short. So I was fighting 2-3 bigger guys, and I literally beat the crap out of them, and they cried and ran away. And my grandfather, it's not just that fight. It's my character. It's my personality. I had too much personality propped into one little kid as a kid, and that's still untouched today. So that's why my grandfather, he by a killer, he didn't mean that I was a good fighter, but he meant that I was a go-getter. You know what I mean?
Right.
That whatever I wanted, I would go for it, even in that young age, and I will get it. I'll get my way.
Speaking of getting your way, you and Brandon Thatch both have the same fight kind of history the last 3 fights. You both have a finish over Paulo Thiago and then losing the next 2. So how important is it to impose your will and to get a win in this fight?
Interesting question. Okay, here's the thing. After I beat Paulo Thiago, I literally took his soul. He was not the same anymore. And after that, beating Paulo Thiago was not a big thing. And my 2 losses after that, I'm not going to make any excuses. They were losses. And his losses, they were losses too. So I'm not going to say anything about my losses. The only thing that I will say that I have trained differently for this fight. And I have trained a whole range of new things for this fight. And hopefully he'll expect the old fighter to show up, and he'll be surprised.
Now, we were talking about a little bit earlier with your grandfather. You grew up in you had a kind of a rough upbringing, Soviet-era Afghanistan during the war. What was that like growing up with you're talking to 3 guys that grew up in pretty much white middle-class neighborhoods, so it's kind of, we really don't have any idea what you went through as a child. Like, we can only imagine. So what was it like growing up in Afghanistan?
It was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. The things that I went through, it was very exciting, like constant adrenaline rush. You woke up in the morning and you wouldn't expect to make it through the day, but still you would go outside and play and do the things that you do daily. Like people were flirting with death daily, and it didn't matter to them what's going to happen. And that's exactly what I was going through. And I mean, it was nothing special. I was used to it, and I missed it when I moved to Holland, because it was a constant rush that you felt during the, like, you would hear always one would break loose in the street, and yeah, you would see bullets flying around your ears, and you literally hear the bullet flying like close to your ear, and the sound of the bullet. I was used to those things, and I was missing those things for a quite long time, because all of a sudden everything was gone, and it was quiet, and no adventures, no rush, no adrenaline rush in life. I had to get used to it.
Wow, that's a really interesting perspective, dude. Most people like hide behind a frown on that, you know? That's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
No case, no life, my friend.
Yeah. Siyar, in this fight coming up against Thatch, he was a really highly touted prospect. Until these last two losses, I think he was 14-1. Now he's 14-3. This is he's no slouch. How do you see yourself beating him in this fight? I know he kind of asked you this already earlier, but do you really want to make a statement in this and kind of get back in the good graces of the UFC and possibly get a bonus?
I would be lying if I said no. And I have trained differently for this fight, and you would ask me why and what I've done differently for this fight. I said I have raced with mountain cats, I've wrestled with bears, I've grappled gorillas, and I've punched a boxing bag of tears. Wow. I have trained crazy for this fight. I have done things that I've never done before. I have never in my life, literally never in my life had a diet. I would watch my food, but I never had a strict diet. And now I'm following a diet for 5 months. 5 straight months. And this fight is going to be one hell of a fight. I know he's hungry. He's coming to take my head off, and he should expect the same from me, because it's an interesting fight. It's two interesting styles. He's a striker. I'm a striker. He will come to show that he's a dominant striker, and I will show that I'm the dominant striker. So we will see. We will see. It will be an interesting fight.
Have you, in the back of your head at all, have you thought about that? This is a huge pay-per-view card. So leading off the card, if you get a big knockout, a quick finish, or just an exciting quick fight, they'll probably show it on the main card of possibly a 2 million pay-per-view buy card. Have you thought about that at all? Being on the same card as Conor?
Yeah, of course. It's a very big event, historic event. And Conor McGregor is a self-promoting genius. He does a great job at promoting himself in the fight. So, it's a great event, great card. And I was actually very excited that this fight was moved to UFC 196, because it's a, bigger event. So, yes, it definitely brings something new to the motivation and the drive. So, yes, it's going to be a very interesting fight.
Siyar, before we let you go, is there anything else you want to tell us? Any sponsors you want to thank, like Reebok or anyone independently in the gym? And do you have a website, or where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, as you already tweeted about me.
Yeah, and we have it up on the screen, too.
Perfect. Then I would like to thank everybody who was involved with me in this camp and my Jackson's MMA, and my friends who have been helping me, and all the supporters who support me and who still believe in me. I would like to thank them sincerely, and thank you guys for taking the time to interview me.
Thank you. Yeah, because I forgot to tell you. And first of all, thank you so much on short notice for taking the time. We are huge fans and big supporters, and we're rooting for you against Thatch. People are asking all the time, where is Siyar? What happened to Siyar? So that's why I kind of wanted to reach out also, because you kind of have a cult following. It's pretty interesting, people. It's kind of like the hardcores and the diehard people. When you mention the name Siyar, people are like, "Oh yeah, definitely they know Siyar."
Well,
come on.
He's also got the Mayhem Monkey following too. All the Mayhem's fans are all big Siyar fans too. So
that's true.
Thank you guys. And I remember, Aaron, you interviewed me in 2009 in California.
At Rain MMA, yes.
So, yeah, exactly. So I knew you're a good guy and you're a good reporter and you do your job well. You ask the right questions, so I didn't have to hesitate to say yes to your interview.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward to seeing him back in the octagon coming up soon. Siyar the Great, a.k.a. Siyar the Killer, versus Brandon Thatch. Thank you so much from the Brutally Honest Show. Congratulations, and we're wishing you the best. Thanks a lot. Woohoo!
All right, man.